if the one thing you learned as a child became the key to your entire future? Annie Oakley was a tiny girl with a giant talent. A childhood challenge, usually that surprising talent, made her unforgettable. At just a young age, Annie Oakley discovered a skill that would take her from struggle to worldwide fame. But how did it happen? This is the incredible story of a girl who turned a childhood skill into a legacy remembered for generations. Little Annie Oakley, the girl who surprised the world. Before the fame, the fortune, and the legends, she was just a young girl with an unbelievable gift. A young girl faced hardship, became a markswoman, and found hope in the one talent no one could ignore, and it changed her life forever. Little Annie Oakley, one skill made her a markswoman. Welcome to Dream Builders Diaries, building dreams one story at a time. I'm Jeannie Kraft, and here at Dream Builders Diaries, we dive deep into the personal stories of entrepreneurs, artists, innovators, and everyday visionaries just like you. We believe that every dream starts with a story worth telling, and by sharing these stories, we aim to empower you to create your own dream and the story behind it. But before we get started, grab a paper and a pencil if you don't already have one. Inspiration, ideas, and dreams come and go very quickly. Jot yours down. Don't let yours get away. One extraordinary ability learned early opened a door nobody expected. What if the skill you learned as a child is the very thing that unlocks your future? Annie Oakley found out for sure. How could a young girl with a simple talent become one of the most famous and highly paid performers on earth? Everyone doubted what a young girl could do until she picked up a skill that changed everything. Imagine discovering your greatest gift before you even know how powerful it is. On August 13, 1860, Wild West sharpshooter and celebrity Annie Oakley was born. Her birth name was Phoebe Ann Mosley, and she fired her first shot when she was only 8 years old. She used her father's Kentucky rifle to successfully shoot a squirrel near their home that she shared with the family. She also considered that shot the best shot she ever made. After her father's death, Annie and her family were forced into poverty. She was often found regularly hunting and trapping to help feed her mother and her other 8 siblings. She was also known for selling her hunt to the local grocers and sometimes the hotels. She was known as an excellent exhibition trick and sharpshooter before she exited high school. And after living with kind of a foster family that abused her for a couple of years, she left and went back home. At age 15, Annie won a shooting contest against an experienced marksman. His name was Frank E. Butler. She would eventually marry Frank E. Butler at only 16 years old in 1876. As an adult, she was most known for being a member and a star of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. The pair joined Buffalo Bill in 1885. Performing in Europe before royalty and other heads of state. She earned more money than anyone else except for Buffalo Bill himself. Annie never failed to delight her audiences, and her feats of marksmanship were truly incredible. At 30 paces, she could split a playing card held hedge on, meaning that the card was facing her from the side, if you will. She hit dimes tossed into the air. She shot cigars out of her husband's lips, and a playing card being thrown into the air, which she riddled before it even touched the ground. Interestingly enough, there was no record of Annie or the couple living in the Wild West, as commonly thought. She did develop a very close relationship with Sitting Bull, the most recognizable and famous Indian leader of his time. 8 years after the Battle of the Little Bighorn, the Indian leader attended one of Annie's performances. Afterwards, he had to meet her, and he gave her the nickname of the Little Sure Shot, because the legendary leader had lost his daughter after the big battle. He adopted Annie and made her a member of his tribe. She would often refer to him as her adopted father. After a bad railway accident in 1901, she had to settle for a less taxing routine, and she toured in a play written about her career. She also instructed women in marksmanship, believing strongly in female self-defense. She was the first female American superstar. Her stage acts were filmed for one of Thomas Edison's early kinetoscopes in 1894. And since her death, her story has been adapted for stage musicals and films, including Annie, Get Your Gun, which was played by Barbara Stanwyck in the 1935 film version. Many famous females played her in the role on Broadway, including Ethel Merman, Betty Hutton, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Reba McEntire, and even Bernadette Peters. Marvel Comics has even published 11 issues of an Annie Oakley comic book. In 1917, the Butlers moved to North Carolina and returned to public life. Oakley continued to set records into her 60s and also engaged in extensive philanthropy for women's rights and other causes, including the support of young women she knew. She embarked on a comeback and intended to star in a feature-length silent movie. She hit 100 clay targets in a row from 16 yards, which is about 15 meters, at the age of 62 in a 1922 sharpshooting contest in Pinehurst, North Carolina. In late 1922, the couple were in a car crash that forced Oakley to wear a steel brace on her right leg. She eventually performed again after more than a year of recovery, and she continued to still set records in 1924. Oakley's health began to decline in 1925, and she died of pernicious anemia in Greenville, Ohio, at the age of 66 on November 3, 1926. She was cremated and her ashes buried at a Brook Cemetery near Greenville. Here's what happened in between, though. Annie's husband was so distraught by her death that he stopped eating and he died 18 days later in Michigan. He was buried next to her ashes. Butler's death certificate gave senility as the cause of death. But interestingly enough, Annie's ashes were placed in one of her trophies and placed with Butler's body in his coffin. Both body and ashes were interred in the cemetery on Thanksgiving Day, November 25, 1926. Annie Oakley's amazing rise. Your smallest beginning can become your greatest breakthrough. Annie Oakley proved it before the world was ready. Marksmanship was the skill that saved her and provided a lifetime of achievement and success. So what should we be thinking about? What's your biggest takeaway from our diary today? And how does this diary relate to how you implement your dreams? Why this diary? Because this diary demonstrates the magic and beauty of sheer talent. When recognized, it can become a lifetime of fame, fortune, and self-satisfaction. And I also share this diary because this powerful diary also celebrates the virtues of how priceless talent really is. It can be taken for granted so easily, and it can certainly be wasted just as easily as it can be encouraged and allowed to grow. Dreamers, believe in yourselves, be passionate, work smart, know your why, and apply what you learn each day. Enjoy life and always, always be kind. I want to leave you with this quotation. Aim for the high mark and you will hit it. Annie Oakley. Aim for the high mark and you will hit it. Thanks, Annie Oakley. Thank you so much. Your story of supported raw talent makes discovering our talents worthwhile. Special thanks to all those who listen to Dream Builders Diaries regularly. I'm grateful to you. The honor to spend time with you is all mine. Check out the other diaries in the My Dream Implement playlist. And if you don't have it yet, get your 90-day Dream Builders Diary by Jeannie Craft on Amazon. The link is in the description. Like and share the diary. Subscribe for more. Contact us to share your story. Thank you, and until next time, building dreams one story at a time.